Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia, and my family and I went on a trip to Canada. We started out in Banff, and this is us at a sled dog mushing area, but for the summer. So they take you on a cart ride, which I will say I was waiting for the cart to flip over, but it was super fun. We were supposed to do this last year in Alaska, but our trip got canceled. So we went this time. It was a total surprise for my daughter. She had no idea we were doing this, so it was super fun. All of the dogs were really nice, and my daughter enjoyed petting them, etc. So to start this trip, we flew into Calgary and then rented a car, and we drove over to Banff, and we stayed in Banff for 4 nights. And so far this trip is just really spectacular. We've had a great time. I highly recommend if you like nature, scenery. So it's their Canadian Rockies. And then next, in the afternoon, we went on the Banff gondola that went up the mountain. My daughter was unsure of that at first. So at first it was not, she had a little tears because she's afraid of heights. But we went up the gondola. It was a beautiful time up there. The scenery is beautiful. You walk along this staircase. Basically, the trail is a series of almost staircases, and then you're up at the top, and you can go to kind of an outlook kind of thing. They have a little museum up there, and they have. We ate at a restaurant that has a great view up there. So it was just a really nice time. I loved the gondola. Just great views. So we had a really awesome first day there. And I think 4 days was about the perfect. We probably could have done it in 3, but 4 made it a little more relaxing. And then after 4 days in Banff, which I guess included Johnston Canyon. So we did do a hike to Johnston Canyon. But while we were up at the top, we saw, I believe these are mountain goats. This was a baby. It was so cute. We loved that. And so there was a mom and dad around too. But we loved that. And so after we got off of the tram, oh yeah, I forgot to. We went to Lake Minnewaca. Sorry, I think I said these pictures would go too long. So anyway, we drove over to Lake Minnewaca, and we took a little boat cruise on the lake. Very nice. Again, this place is just beautiful. If you love nature, it is totally for you. My husband got this really cool picture of my daughter. But again, we just had a fabulous time. Sadly, on this one, my daughter, I don't know why at 9 years old we don't realize we should pack snacks. But so she was getting hungry, so I took her back for a snack. My husband kept walking, and he saw a bear on this lake, but we missed that bear. But the pictures, I don't think, do the water justice. The scenery is, I think, prettier than the pictures can show. But then after we came back to the hotel, and then the next day we did Johnston Canyon, which has, I believe, 7 waterfalls. And so here we are at one of the waterfalls. There were lines so long to see the waterfalls. It was crazy. And you had to hike out there, so it wasn't like it was just, 10 feet off from the parking lot. But once you got to the lower falls, I mean, we were in a line of, I feel like 40 people waiting to see the waterfall. And then the same thing, you had to hike a total of 1.5 miles up to the upper waterfall. And once again, there were at least 40 people. We were in line for this waterfall. So this is a super popular area. But Johnson Canyon, you're kind of hiking on like a boardwalk that's on the side of the mountain, but it is breathtaking. I think my favorite part of this whole thing was watching it all through Cora's eyes. So definite Johnson Canyon was so beautiful. Honestly, this trip has just been awesome so far, and I think we're about at this point halfway through. So we're here for almost 2 weeks. I will say probably could have dialed it back a couple of days, but we are loving it and just having a really good time. And then after Johnson Canyon, I believe the next day, we drove up on our way to Jasper. And in the between Banff and Jasper, there is the Columbia ice field. So we got on these big vehicles. They drove out onto a glacier. We got to spend 30 minutes on a glacier. It was spectacular. Once again, I don't think the pictures do it justice at all. My daughter loved this part. This was just spectacular. Again, had a great time. The scenery was beautiful. On our way up to the Columbia ice field, we saw a bear for the first time, which I know the picture will come after this. But it was just magnificent. Those big vehicles had to go down like a 30% grade or something, which is like way more than we do on any road. So it was a little nerve-wracking. But it was just gorgeous out there. We had a great time. This was probably, I think, one of my favorite days. My daughter was just in awe of being on a glacier. I love seeing things through her eyes. I just think it's just the best to watch your child like see the world. So there are like, I think 6 major glaciers on the Columbia ice field, and all of them are fed by the Columbia ice field. There were pictures though of like, from like, I think 1917 till now, they have drastically shrunken. But anyway, this is the bear we saw. It's a black bear, and we believe an older one, but we could be wrong. Just kind of the way it looks older than the one my husband had saw a couple days before. But we were super excited to see the bear. I keep hoping we'll see more, but we have not seen any more. And then continuing on to Jasper, it was, I think, Waterfall City. So we stopped at 2 separate waterfalls. One had a longer hike, and one was more just kind of off the road. With like, like maybe like a 30-foot walk, or well, a little bit more than that. But they were just gorgeous. The waterfalls are amazing. This, again, just if you love nature and scenery, I highly recommend coming up to Banff. And then we did the Valley of 5 Lakes. I don't know why on the map I thought it said Valley of Fire, but the Valley of 5 Lakes. And these pictures for sure don't do the water justice. It was pure turquoise, just magical to look at. And we actually got to swim in them, which was even more magical. But the water is like pure turquoise, and I don't feel like my husband's camera caught that. And then we had this little chipmunk friend. We did not feed him. There's a massive fine for feeding wildlife up here, but I think clearly somebody did. So this little guy was posing. And then we saw elk. This is like a female and a male elk. Again, just gorgeous views all around. This trip, I just can't recommend enough if you guys like nature. Also, currently we are in a good exchange rate, so pretty much every price listed, we're getting about 20 to 25% off of that because the dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar. But anyway, just wanted to share a little bit of our trip. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I will talk to you soon.